Hello everyone, this is Zeeebo and welcome to this AFK journey video. So in this AFK journey video, we're going to talk about the best PvP team for Valka. And before we start talking about the best PvP team, I'd like to make a disclaimer that Valka as a PvP character is not exactly the best because of a few reasons. Number one, this unit doesn't have any sort of auto-targeting mechanics, which makes it such that it is hard for you to use Valka to snipe off key targets should you want to use Valka on the offense. And on the defensive side of things, because the Wilders faction is still a very powerful faction right now in the PvP side, Valka, which is a Graveborn character, is not exactly the tankiest or the best unit to use against the Wilders in general. And last but not least, Valka synergy with other units. There are some combos you can pull off with Valka, which I'll talk about shortly, but in general there are better combos out there to combo with existing OP units to form your general PvP teams, but this will be what I'll call the best Valka team if you have all these other PvP units already in place. So first of all, let's talk about how we are going to use Valka, or how you can use Valka in your team. So Valka as a unit is actually pretty decent to be a Lily May bait, because Valka over here doesn't rely on her energy for her ultimate, and she activates her ultimate after you build up enough fear on the enemy. And this is where she's actually a really good Lily May bait, because over here she blocks out the damage of the ultimate from Lily May itself, and then because she doesn't get her energy bar removed, she is able to still cast her ultimate for that massive true damage potential from the Phantom Slasher ability. So Valka over here is a pretty good unit to sort of take Lily May's ultimate so that your other characters will be able to unleash their ultimate in sequence. And on top of that, you can use Valka as a massive AoE buff, because the Spectral Bulwark right here not only provides a shield on Valka based on the allies around her, she is also able to permanently increase the attack speed of all the allies within the AoE, which grants a permanent buff to your other units so that they can attack faster, to do more damage, or even build up their energy faster. So these are the few users that you can use Valka for, and she has quite a fair bit of flexibility in terms of dealing with different situations with Devloom scheme. However, after like multiple tries itself, I think Valka is a usable PvP character, but not the most optimal in case you have better units to use in your team itself. So this will be the few ways I will be using Valka, or the few ways which I will be showcasing the team that I built Valka around. And without further ado, let's move to the team building section. Let's go. Okay, so right here we have three different team ideas for Valka, and I think the best one would be this one over here, where we put Valka together with Twins as well as Resto, together with Bonnie as well as Ludovic. So Ludovic will provide for the sustain for the team. The Twins will be able to provide for additional buffs as well as control immunity and heals for the likes of Bonnie as well as our Valka over here. And then Valka is able to buff up Bonnie, Ludovic as well as Twins. This one I think it's Elijah with the attack speed buff for them to use their skills and do more DPS faster. And then frontline by the Fresto over here, we will be able to sort of stall out the enemy with regards to the Bonnie's ability, as well as deal decent damage with all these different units that are buffed up by the Twins, as well as Valka Spectral Bulwark right here. So this team over here is okay if you have this map available for your Valka to be positioned like this, to benefit as many allies as possible with the attack speed buff from the Spectral Bulwark skill. Valka in this team is more like a mid shield and a buffer for the team, and your main carry would still be Bonnie. So with regards to this team over here, you would actually want to sub out Bonnie for maybe Lily May to have another decent carry, or maybe Viperion for another way of AoE damage for the team. But I think Bonnie would still be the best, because Bonnie's ability to prioritize like on the backmost target with the Decay Switch ability synergizes insanely well with the buff that Valka is able to provide, as well as the buff that the Twins is able to provide. So Twins as well as Valka buff on our Bonnie allows her to snipe off backline targets more easily, and that's where this will allow Bonnie to actually carry a lot more easily as well. And incidentally, because the enemy's team actually has a Lily May, we are able to showcase Valka's ability to actually take Lily May's ultimate so that the other units can cast their skills more frequently. So without further ado, let's showcase this team over here. So our Valka charges on the front line, charges her energy, but she's not reliant on her ultimate. Reliant on her energy to cast her ultimate. So right here, when Valka casts the ultimate, Lily May will target her. So this way, Valka will be able to bait out the Lily May ultimate while still being able to cast her own ultimate, so that the ultimates of other allies like the twins as well as Bonnie can go through right here, as you guys can see. So Valka can be a pretty decent Lily May sponge to soak up their ultimate for your other allies to do stuff while being the buffer and frontliner for the team. So this is one showcase for the team over here, and this is, I'll say, like a more premium team because you will need Fresto built up as well as the twins built up for you to actually see the full effect, because twins is actually quite powerful in terms of buffing, and on top of being a very powerful buffer, the twins also provides for control immunity as well as other good stat buff on the likes of Valka as well as Bonnie for them to carry better for the team itself. So this will be the more premium version of the best team for Valka. So let's say if you do not have the twins built up, then what you can do is put in another sustain unit like Damien or Hewin into the team, right? So if you don't have Ludwig and twins, you can use Damien and Hewin so that you get their sustain power for Bonnie's damage over time to build up eventually to bring down the enemies. Now for the Fresto portion, if you don't have Fresto built up, then you can definitely use Torrent as a tank, and I'll be recommending another full Graveborn team with Torrent in the mix so that you guys have a reference point as to how to use Torrent together with Valka later. So for this team over here, we'll showcase some matches. Here we lose a little bit of stats from the twins Celestial Hypogean stat bonus, but we do get that haste buff that Damien is able to provide, as well as the continuous revival of the Damien card onto the front line, so that we are able to fight the long game. So this is a matchup where most of my carry units actually melted, right? Valka, Bonnie as well as Ludovic, they all melted, but because we have the sustained power of Ludovic as well as Damien to stay till the end, the damage from Bonnie is able to slowly tick down the opponent from here. So this is the whole match, as you guys can see. So Bonnie's damage tick is just impressive, and we also have Fresto standing on the front line for additional damage as well as the survival to buy time for us. Yep, so right here Ludovic doing magic with the massive heal numbers, and then Damien keeps on coming back to provide for the additional body as well as heals. Okay, and then we slowly tick down the Tailin, and then we slowly tick down the Lily May right here as well, as you guys can see. So all the units eventually tick down, and then we are able to win the matchup even without Valka as well as Bonnie on the battlefield. Okay, so for the next team recommendation, we will talk about the full GB Snipe. So GB Snipe is Graveborn Snipe with the sniping power of Bonnie as well as Sylvina. So this team over here runs off all Graveborn units with the buffs from Valka onto 4 of your allies, with the sniping potential of Sylvina as well as Bonnie in the team. So this team is more powerful on the offense if you're able to snipe off key targets with Bonnie as well as Sylvina over here, and you will be enlightening your Sylvina to give that massive attack speed buff on her with the buffs from Valka as well. So this team is more like efficient on the attacking side than the defending side, so don't try to use this, because on the defending side, if the opponent plays around the Sylvina, then Sylvina is not going to be as effective, and you might not be able to snipe off the key targets that you want to bring down. Okay, so right here, our Sylvina actually jumps to the Bonnie to quickly remove her, and our Sylvina actually has the attack speed buff from Enlightening Spell as well as Valka's attack speed buff from Spectral Bulwark. So this gives her the faster attack speed to bring down enemies more quickly and then proc the subsequent part of her kit, making this combo pretty decent if you're using Sylvina and Bonnie as an offensive tool against your opponent. So this team over here works as well, but more offensively than defensively, and when you can snipe off certain targets with the Bonnie plus Sylvina combo, that's where you can slot Valka into the team to have greater synergy and effect. Okay, so that's pretty much it. All the best PvP team for Valka. I think Valka as a character is a slottable unit into multiple different teams with her abilities, but then she's not like a meta unit, because like she doesn't have anything that makes her particularly good in the PvP side, and true damage plus max HP damage in the PvP side is not super duper spectacular as well. So that's my, I'll say, evaluation for Valka in the PvP side. Usable, but not a must-have specifically for PvP. That's it for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in. Do remember to like and subscribe to see more. I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys!